Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Outstanding Businesses in the High Country. Terry Smith here. I'm with Charlie Silver, one of my favorite people. Charlie, great to see you.
Good to see you, Terry.
And you've seen Charlie for the last few years on a Loving Life here on MTN, and it's been a fantastic show. It's really helped a lot of people, and really it all started with Charlie and I being friends and me appreciating all that he had to offer and all the positive nature that he has and all the great things that he does, and that caused us to want to do the show. And so I wanted to have Charlie on the show here to talk about his business and to talk about what you do down there, obviously based down in Wilkes County. Tell us, Charlie, about being Blue Skies Hypnosis Center and also about your life coaching.
Okay, absolutely. Well, I started it because I wanted to help people achieve their goals. That's always been my passion. You know, I knew that at some point in my life I would have my own practice where people could come in and, you know, if they felt challenges in their life, I would find ways to help them overcome those challenges. And that's what hypnosis and life coaching both do. There's quite a similarity between hypnosis, using hypnosis, formal hypnosis, and life coaching techniques. So I decided to combine those two and offer that to people and help them achieve their goals.
It really was to help people. That was your desire.
That's always been, you know, a very strong feeling within me to help people, and you know, it started at a very young age. You know, I'd have friends who would always come up to me for help and ask me, you know, hey, how should I do this? What should I do about this? And so on. All through my career in corporate America, you know, that same way. You know, every department I would go into, every group that I would manage and coach, you know, I always felt my most important function of doing that was to help them achieve their goals, to help them succeed, to help them move in the direction that they really desire to move in. Yeah. So I took that into Blue Skies Hypnosis and Life Coaching Center, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Yeah, I tell you, anyone that's ever watched Loving Life show with Charlie knows what a great speaker he is and how polished you are, and you have a background with teaching and things. Tell us about your background.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I actually, my background is so varied. I mean, you know, many years ago, I actually, my first job right out of college was actually helping people with you know, perfecting their interviewing techniques, so that when they would go out to do interviews and apply for jobs, they would, you know pretty much how to deal with the situation, how to present themselves in a professional way, and so on. That was my first job right out of college. And shortly after that, I was fortunate enough to be hired by AT&T, and from there, you know, I was with them for 28 years, again in various departments. You know, human resources, and you know, was especially very enjoyable for me. And it was always a situation where, again, as I just described, you know, I always wanted to help people get ahead, move ahead, because I firmly believe that everyone can achieve anything, truly anything they desire to achieve, as long as they believe in themselves. You know, so from AT&T, while I was still at AT&T, I actually started teaching at the University of Phoenix. I was an adjunct professor for several years there, again teaching students, you know, various subjects: computer information, risk management, project management, critical thinking, you know, security, quality management, and again with an emphasis on, you know, letting the students know that, and they're adult students at the University of Phoenix, who are already in the job force and who have been in the job force for a while, letting them know that, you know, they can, you know, improve themselves, do a better job for the company, for themselves. And again, I use the same basic types of techniques, life coaching and so on, to help them believe in themselves. It's all about believing in yourself. So I use that, again, you know, as a way to just help whoever comes in and asks for my help.
Yeah. Tell us about your upbringing, like where you grew up and everything.
Well, I was born in Massachusetts, lived there for 30 plus years. come from a fairly large family. I have 8 siblings. And my upbringing, my parents, they had their own challenges, as we all have challenges in life. They have their own challenges, and I didn't realize how the challenges that they were experiencing were impacting me and my siblings, basically. As we've discussed several times, sometimes people don't realize, why they are who they are. And it took me several years to realize that, okay, who I was not getting me to where I really desired to be. And when I reached that point in my life, 20 plus years ago, was when I really began examining, okay, who am I? Why am I this way? Why do I have the beliefs I have? Why do I have the thoughts I have, and so on? And obviously, vast majority of that comes from my parents, my siblings, my environment at the time. And when I look back, I realize, wow, my parents were pretty negative people. Again, because of the challenges they were experiencing. And so when I realized that, I had to decide, okay, am I going to continue feeling that negativity, allowing that negativity to direct my path in life, or am I going to take control of my life, make my decisions based on being more positive? Yeah. And I realized that 22 plus years ago when I had my very first hypnosis session, because I was experiencing so much stress at the time, at home, at work, and so on. I'm sure most of your viewers know this and have heard me say this so many times that, it was a good friend of mine who convinced me to see a hypnotist friend of his. Because at that time I had those common misconceptions about hypnosis that, that the Hollywood version where, the mad scientist, controls people to commit crimes, and, and then the stage hypnotists, all they do is make people bark like dogs, cluck like chickens, and how is that going to relieve my stress, kind of thing. But my good friend suggested that I go, and after that first session I realized, wow, okay, now I understand why I am who I am. And now I have a choice. I can continue being who I am and pretty much being stressed out and anxious for the rest of my life, or take back control, take steps, do what's necessary to become more positive and in control. And I continued taking hypnosis sessions, and after very few of those, I decided to take hypnosis courses, webinars, seminars. Did as much reading as I could find on hypnosis, the history of hypnosis, which is absolutely fascinating. And at that point, I quickly realized that this is it. This is what I want to do, because I see how it helped me. I know it can help so many others. And at some point, I would open my practice. So I continued, in corporate America. In corporate America, academic America, and when I decided it was time to leave the corporate work, it was time for me to open my practice. Yeah. And that's how Blue Skies Hypnosis Center came about. Yeah.
So, I mean, you always say that anyone can achieve anything, and you believe that if they have the belief. But one of your key points in that is that at the start, you have to know who you are and why who you are, so that you can start, because everybody's at a certain spot in their life, aren't they? Absolutely. And they have to know where they are before they can start to move forward. Right?
Sure, exactly. And I describe it as, most people, it's almost like sleepwalking through life. Things are happening to them, and they don't understand why those things are happening to them. They feel it's bad luck, bad situations, and so on. And so until they realize that, okay, these situations are happening based on the choices that they've made, and they've made those choices based on their programming, which is part of their upbringing and their environment, until you follow it back to the beginning, then there's really no effective way to make those changes.
Yeah.
You will just continue going through, well, I hope this works or I hope that works, as opposed to, all right, I understand if I make this choice, these are the likely results. So in the past, I always made this kind of choice and it didn't work out for me. So maybe it's time to make a different type of choice and move from there.
That's fascinating. I tell you, hypnosis, and I've had some personal experience with it, but it really is unbelievable what it can do. I mean, you know, there's things that people can work on and for months and years and try to get over. You know, somebody, as an example, maybe has trouble with public speaking or smoking or just, you know, there's just such a variety of you know, weight loss or anything. And what we don't realize as people is there's some, in your mind, there's little barriers that you've created over the years that you don't even know exist there.
Exactly.
And the hypnosis allows to kind of get through that, doesn't it?
Exactly. And until you make that realization, until you understand you know, how those barriers got there, it's going to be extremely challenging to take those barriers down. Once you become aware of it, the whole foundation is being aware. You know, if you go through life sleepwalking, then you're not aware. Okay? Once you become aware, then you can decide. I mean, obviously, if you choose, you can decide, well, I'm going to continue doing what I'm doing, and I know it's going to work out terribly, but hey, okay. Or you can say, okay, it's time for me to make that change. And it is fascinating. You know, it's somewhat challenging to describe exactly what a person may feel, you know, when they move into the formal hypnotic trance. But the interesting aspect is that we are constantly being hypnotized, whether we realize it or not. Because hypnosis, what hypnosis does is it affects the programming, our programming. And we're all programmed. Again, whether we believe it or not, we are programmed because we were not born believing certain things and liking certain things and disliking other things. We're just not born that way. Those beliefs, those likes, those dislikes come from our upbringing. And our upbringing is our programming. It's really that simple. You know, there's really, you know, nothing difficult to understand about that. You know, so once you realize that, okay, I am the person I am based on my programming, then the question becomes, do I like myself? Do I like where I'm going, what I'm doing? And, you know, for the most part, yeah, I like myself, but, you know, there's some changes I'd like to make, so be aware of those and make those changes, as opposed to, again, being that victim of why are all these terrible things always happening to me? You know, it's not bad luck. It's just the choices that are made in life.
Yeah. And I think that, as you mentioned, they're programming, and that makes so much sense because a person is programmed, you know, has programmed themselves throughout their life, and then they have those barriers there. And what hypnosis is it puts you into a relaxed state where it allows you to go past that barrier without there being resistance there. And then once you get past it, it's very easy to get past it in hypnosis. Once you get past it, then you've broken that barrier down, and your programming can change.
Exactly, and the thing is, it's not me breaking down those barriers. Yeah. It's not the hypnotist breaking down the barriers. It's the client. It's the person themselves. All the hypnotist does is just make the suggestions, you know, guide the person to certain aspects of their life and so on, and then the person decides, yes, okay, this is a barrier. I realize it now that it's a barrier, and so I need to change it. I need to modify it in some way. And that's what the hypnotist does. The hypnotist does not say, okay, you no longer smoke. Yeah. You know, I wish it were that easy, that simple. You know, but it doesn't work that way.
So you look at what you do, and you do life coaching, and you also do hypnosis. But really the two blend together, don't they?
Absolutely.
Tell us how that blend is.
Absolutely. Well, again, hypnosis is that formal aspect of the hypnotic trance where people typically erroneously consider sleep. You know, the person is not asleep during that hypnotic trance, okay? But during that hypnotic trance, the suggestions are made, the directions are given, and so on, so that the person, the client, can, again, as you described, break down those barriers and start changing things. Life coaching is very similar to that, except for the formal hypnotic trance. Life coaching is, bringing about a positive change, affirming, positive changes, realizing, okay, this is what I've done in the past, so I need to make that change here. And that's what the life coach does. That's what I do. As I describe it, I'm a cheerleader for my clients, because I have no doubt that anyone can achieve anything they truly desire to achieve. And so I'm their cheerleader. When they come up against a situation where they're not sure of or whatever, I cheer them on, which is, again, basically what hypnosis does. Hypnosis, I help you break down those barriers so that you can move in the direction you desire to move. So they're very, very closely linked in the way that that change is approached.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but the way I would see it is what you're talking about there is to, first you have to find out why the person is who they are right there. You said
Yes.
Why they are who they are.
Right.
And then once you do that, your life coach comes up with a plan and a strategy on how to move that person forward through to get to where they want to go.
Right.
And then if there's certain barriers there that may be resistant in terms of in their conscious day-to-day activities,
Right.
then the hypnosis can kind of smooth those over as you
Absolutely.
follow along. So the two go right together.
Right, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's why I say, whether a person believes in hypnosis or not, or they say that, oh, it doesn't work or whatever, we're always being hypnotized from the moment we wake up, from the moment we are consciously awake every day. We are being, in a very real way, hypnotized by the ads we watch, by the movies we see, by what we read, just by talking. Right now, I'm hypnotizing you. You're hypnotizing me. Because think of it this way. Everything I say, you are making a choice. And it's three choices. Yes, no, maybe. Yes, I agree with what Charlie is saying right now. No, I don't agree with what Charlie is saying right now. Or maybe. Maybe I can agree with that. Okay. If you agree with it, it's because your programming is in line with what I just said. And so I'm reinforcing that aspect of your programming. If you disagree with what I just said, that's the barrier that we're talking about, the barrier to your programming, that it's not allowing any changes. Okay. The maybe is that, oh, okay, I planted the seed, and let's see where it goes from here. So we're constantly making those choices when we're talking with people. And that's basically being hypnotized. We're either reinforcing our programming, rejecting, and so reinforcing the negative aspect, if you want to look at it, of our programming, or somewhere in the middle that will reinforce it or reject it at some point.
Yeah.
When you watch TV, whatever you happen to be watching on TV, if you're watching a politician, talking about policy and what's going on in the world, you're looking at that person and you're saying, yeah, he or she is absolutely right, or oh, that person's full of it. That person doesn't know what he or she's talking about, or maybe they're right. But it's only those three choices that you're making.
And I know you've mentioned before, but I think that hypnosis, for someone who's never done it before, it's a very easy thing. It's not something to have any fear of at all. But it reminds me of, and I remember you mentioning this one time as a relationship, if you've ever been in a car, and I think we've all been in a car and driven, say, a road that going home from work that we've driven 1,000 times, and so you kind of can switch off just a little bit. You're still in total focus. You're still able to make every turn and do everything that you need to do, but your mind is kind of a little bit relaxed because it's so used to it. And then suddenly you get home and you go, gosh, I don't even remember. I don't remember the trip, because it was so automatic. And that's a lot to me the way when you're in a hypnosis trance is.
That's great. That's exactly what it is. You're on autopilot.
Yeah.
And all autopilot is your subconscious programming, your habits, which is part of your subconscious programming. So yeah, you can get from point A to point B and miss a lot of stuff in between, but still get there safely because you're on autopilot following your programming.
Yeah, and so
So it's very natural.
So you're actually, you're safe completely while you're driving. Even if you don't remember those last 5 miles you drove, you drove it very safely because but it was just that it was kind of autopilot.
Right.
And it's the same way with hypnosis. There's never a threat that you're ever going to do something you don't want to do, or have somebody influence you in a way that you don't want to be influenced, because you have in your mind still has control. And if something were to be wrong, you could immediately come out of the hypnosis.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Because your conscious mind is always right there, aware of what's going on. And if you are on autopilot, you're just daydreaming about whatever you're going to have for dinner or whatever, and you're just making those turns, and somebody happens to be crossing the road, your conscious mind is still there, and immediately your conscious mind takes over, and you apply the brakes, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, as you described, you never lose control in the hypnotic trance.
Yeah.
You're aware of everything.
You see some of these stage hypnotists that get up there and
Oh,
they have
yeah.
somebody do like a chicken and all that. But the real trick to that is not so much the hypnosis, what I've read. I'm sure you could say if this is right or not. But what it is that they bring about 10 or 12 people up on stage. Right. And the hypnotist is actually evaluating each of them to determine which ones really want to do something kind of funny and unusual and things like that.
Right.
And so he ends up choosing the one that really he's already seen is the type of person that's a little bit of a ham, a little bit of a stage person, wants to get up there and do something kind of funny. And whereas a person who didn't want to do that, he wouldn't have chosen them to begin with.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, I have several colleagues who are stage hypnotists, and they choose their volunteers very carefully for that reason.
Yeah.
They determine, they're able to quickly determine that the level of suggestibility a person is going to allow themselves to have, so that they will, participate freely in the act.
Yeah. So there in Wilkes County, I tell you what, you're involved in so many different things. I know you do the open air market, you do the Chamber of Commerce, you do a lot of things with nonprofits. Tell us about if somebody wanted to come and see you at the open air market. How would it?
Well, the open air market is in downtown Wilkesboro. It's held on Friday nights, right there in the middle of town. It's a fantastic place. From April to October, every Friday night from 4 to 8. I'm there. I have a booth there set up. I love being out there, watching the people come by, and I am always, motioning people over, and I just have made it my mission to educate people about hypnosis, and to let them know that it's not that mysterious, magical thing that they see in movies. So I really enjoy being there, and and I've got to meet so many fantastic people doing that. With the Chamber of Commerce, I'm a member of the Chamber. I'm an ambassador. I'm on their board of directors. Again, because I want to be involved as much as possible in the community, and the Chamber is a fantastic way for me to do that. I attend different Chamber-sponsored events and so on. Again, get to meet new people, educate them about what hypnosis is. The nonprofits, and the same way, I've helped with fundraising and so on. So to me, again, it's all about, helping people. And I also realize that, I've been so fortunate and blessed in so many different ways that I want to give back as much as I can. So that's why I participate in all of these different events and so on.
Yeah. I think you have the perfect wife, too, for somebody that's as positive as you. Tell us about her.
Yeah. Darlene is fantastic. She's absolutely wonderful. I mean, she's such a support for me. Yeah. I'm usually, bouncing ideas off of her and so on, and she's great to give me feedback and her honest opinion about what it is. She's just awesome, I mean, and that's what I believe about everyone. Everyone is awesome. Some people are just more awesome than others because they don't allow themselves to be more awesome than others. Again, it's fantastic. When I first approached her and I said, okay, I'm retired from corporate America, and now I'm ready to open my practice. What do you think? Immediately she said, okay, let's do it. Let's see what happens. Let's go for it. she's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's very important. I mean, someone as positive as Charlie. I mean, all the time, what you see is what you get with Charlie. I mean, when you see on the show Loving Life, he's like that every second that you're around him. But in order to be like that, you have to have a wife that supports that. Mm-hmm. Because otherwise, if she was negative, then you wouldn't have the freedom to be as positive as you are.
Oh, absolutely. It would be much more challenging.
Yeah.
Definitely. And you know, and that's why I say, you know, I surround myself, you know, with positive people as much as possible. I mean, you're one of the most positive people I know, and it's fantastic. I really, really enjoy and love coming here to the station and talking with you because I know how positive you are. You know, do we have challenges? Absolutely. You know, are we positive 100% of the time? No, unfortunately not. But, you know, pretty much up there, you know, up in the high 90s, you know, that's a good percentage to be positive most of the time. We have our challenges. We have, you know, our not as good as other days. You know, I always say every day is a good day. Some days are just better than others,
yeah.
You know. So absolutely, you know, surrounding yourself with positive people. You know, Darlene is fantastic. She's positive. When she sees that I'm, you know, not as positive for whatever reason, she'll just point it right out to me, you know, because again, when you're not feeling positive, that means obviously something negative is happening around you, and whenever you're not feeling positive, that means you're not in control. Yeah. I firmly believe that, because again, common sense, basic sense. If you were in control of everything around you all the time, wouldn't you automatically be positive and happy and cheerful? You know, you probably, you know, if you could control everything around you, you probably wouldn't want to be, oh, terrible and miserable and negative.
Yeah.
So when you're not feeling positive, you know, it's time to look around and say, okay, what person or situation is attempting to control me that's causing me to feel this stress, this pressure, this whatever. So whenever I'm not in a really positive mood, she's the first to say, you're not in control, are you?
Yeah.
You know, and that usually snaps me right back to, you know, you're right. I'm letting that person or that situation control me. I can't let that happen. I'm going to find some way to make it positive.
You're right, because if somebody believes they can change things through their own actions, then they're going to be positive, aren't they? Because if you knew you could change it in the right direction, right, then everything you would be looking at would be positive. And so that's exactly what you're saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it's fun. I love it.
So if we had one of our viewers, let's say they have something they want to achieve,
yeah,
and you have this pyramid that you always talk about, and tell the viewers about your pyramid.
Yeah, I call it the achievement pyramid. Okay, and all it is, you know, in my workshops, you know, we discuss it, and I firmly believe in visuals. I'm a visual type of person. You know, I learn best by seeing things. You know, some people learn, you know, best by hearing things or reading things. I learn best by seeing things, and so I focus a lot on visuals. And in my workshops, I just have this pyramid of achievement. So all you have to do is just imagine a pyramid, you know, with an A in the center of it. That's the achievement. That's the goal you desire to achieve. Okay, or actually that's the final result of what you want to achieve. At the top, I usually put the D. That's the desire, the dream. Okay, that's the goal that you're really, really desiring to achieve. On one of the other corners, I put a B. And that's the belief that you need to have in yourself that you can achieve it. Because it all comes down to belief. If you don't believe you can achieve it, you will not achieve it. Okay? And then on the other corner, I put a C, which is the commitment to yourself, again, to yourself, that you will achieve that goal. So it's A, B, C, D, pyramid of achievement, with the final result, the achievement, in the center. And that makes it very, very clear, very, you know, very basic. You know, you have to have the desire, you have to have the belief in yourself, you have to have the commitment to yourself, which results in the achievement.
Yeah. So if someone comes into your office, all right, and tell us where your office is, first of all.
It's on South Cherry Street in Wilkesboro.
Yeah.
It's right across from the fire station. You know, when you're driving down the street, you see the fire station, look across, and there's my building, the big sign out front. Easy to get to.
So when somebody comes into your, tell us the format. If somebody, a viewer came into your office,
Right.
and they sat down and they started talking to you about where they were in their life right now and what they wanted to achieve, would you put together like a plan for them? Is that what you would do?
If they came in strictly for hypnosis, we would deal with the hypnosis aspect of it. If they came in for the life coaching, then we would sit down and it would be a formalized plan of action steps to take, and so on. So in either case, there's a slightly different approach to it. If they come in for the hypnosis, I typically ask if they come in and they want to reduce weight, for example. I typically ask, well, why are you putting on weight? Why are you maintaining your weight? And they typically give me an answer: because I overeat, because I eat junk food, because I'm not as active, and so on. And after they give me the answer, I always explain, well, you gave me an answer from your conscious, rational mind. And our conscious, rational minds will typically always have reasons for why we do what we do, which, in my experience, is often not the original reason why we do what we do. That reason is in our programming in the subconscious, and that's how hypnosis helps you make that change. So, yeah, you eat junk food, you eat a lot of junk food, you overeat. Why? You know that if you do that, you're going to continue putting on weight. Then why do you continue doing that? I don't know. Exactly. You don't know. Consciously, you don't know. So let's find out in your subconscious programming where that is that causes you to believe you need to overeat or eat junk food or whatever the situation is. And that's where we go into the session room, that the person allows themselves to move into the hypnotic trance. And then from there, I guide them to find that reason why they overeat or eat junk food or whatever it is, why they smoke, why they feel so much stress all the time. And once they come to that awareness, as I say, if you're afraid of something, but you don't know what it is that you're afraid of, there's no way you're going to overcome that fear. Once you're aware of why you're afraid of that something, then it makes it so easy to overcome it.
Yeah. So I tell you what, Charlie, you've been corporate America 28 years. You were an adjunct professor for several years. Are you really happy now doing what you're doing?
I am ecstatic.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, when I was in corporate America, it was stressful. It was absolutely stressful. I enjoyed working for AT&T. I enjoyed working for University of Phoenix. I'm grateful for the opportunities they gave me and so on. There was always that level of stress involved with it. I feel very little stress right now, and it's gotten to the point where I wake up and my first thought is, wow, I am so lucky, so blessed, it's so fantastic for me to be able to do what I truly enjoy doing.
Yeah, so you found what you truly love doing, and you love helping people.
Right, exactly. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, that's tremendous. So if you would, tell the viewers your phone number if somebody wanted to give you a call.
Sure. It's 336 566-7855. I usually don't call myself.
Not too often.
Yeah, 336-566-7855. Online, it's blueskieshypnosiscenter.com, and they can call me or send me an email online, and or just stop by the office.
Somebody could just come in and just sit and just come in and see you and just talk to you and get a feel for whether you could talk to them about what you thought would be beneficial to them.
Sure, absolutely. It's as I describe when people ask me, can hypnosis help me? Oh, absolutely. Hypnosis can help anyone. Will it help? Again, it depends on the individual. You have to have that belief in yourself and that commitment to yourself. If you have that belief and you have that commitment to yourself to make those changes, like that.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's the easiest way to change that there is.
It is.
I mean, you see people that, I'm amazed when I look at someone, say, that's smoking as an example, and they, nicotine patches and all the nicotine gum and the different things, and they're doing all these different things. And I know for a fact that if they went to, if they had a good hypnosis session, would do it right there.
That's it, exactly, exactly.
And it's just amazing what our minds are the most advanced computer that there possibly is, and we, on a conscious level, we don't realize what all is going inside there. But when we can get past those barriers,
that's it.
It's amazing what can be accomplished. I mean, my love of it started because of sports, and I believe so much in athletics, both as a player and as a coach. But freeing your mind and clearing your mind and playing with your subconscious, because your conscious gets in the way of your athletic ability. And so I was always searching for the ways to do that, reading books, reading about hypnosis, reading about things, and hypnosis is that method that allows that, because your subconscious mind, and as I like to say in sports, when you try to think about something that you're actually doing, your subconscious mind can only maintain maybe 6 or 7 or 8 thoughts in it, your subconscious mind is limitless.
Exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And another interesting aspect, speaking of sports, sports psychology.
Yeah.
What is sports psychology all about? Using your focus, using your imagination, picturing, where exactly you want to hit that ball, exactly where you want, something to happen. It's that focus and that imagination that gets you to move in that direction. Sports psychology, hypnosis, same thing.
Oh yeah, if you look at all the great athletes right now, that's really been the advance in sports right now. The golfers, the baseball players, the football players, basketball players, it all comes down to the sports psychology. They all have personal sports psychologists who do hypnosis and do everything.
Sure, absolutely. And that brings up another aspect, as far as, the sports psychologists, using hypnosis and all that. I'm glad to see that more and more, people in the medical profession are beginning to realize once again how effective hypnosis is, because 100 years ago the medical profession used hypnosis for pain management, for anesthesia, for many different reasons, and then they moved away from that because of the what I describe as the easy fix, the drugs and so on, the medications, but now it's beginning to come back around, thankfully, and so many different medical institutions are realizing the benefit of hypnosis. And Harvard Medical School, Stanford Medical School, the Mayo Clinic, Duke University, right here in North Carolina, good old North Carolina, has a department that offers hypnosis, because they realize that it can help traditional medicine be that much more effective.
Yeah.
So it's awesome.
Oh yeah.
It's fantastic.
I tell you what, it's always great to have you on here, Charlie. I really enjoy it every time you're here.
I love being here, Terry. I enjoy it. I enjoy it very much.
Yeah.
And talking with you, again, that positive energy, I love being around positive people, And speaking of being around positive people, I'm often asked, well, when your clients come in, I imagine they're typically, somewhat negative and so on. So how do you maintain your positivity around all that negativity? And very easy, because yes, they may come in feeling negative, but they leave feeling so positive. So it's great.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it makes you feel good too to have somebody that you've known, that you've helped as they've gone out.
Definitely, absolutely. Absolutely. At the open air market, for example, many of my past clients, are walking by, and they stop by and they say, "Hey, do you remember me?" I say, "Yeah, of course I remember you. How you doing?" "Well, I haven't smoked in months, or I've lost 20 pounds, or whatever it is." It's fantastic.
Yeah. So that's great. So tell us again, 336-566-7855. You want to give Charlie a call. Also, BlueSkiesHypnosisCenter.com, the website. Give Charlie a call. I'd guarantee you, I tell you, he'll do a lot of great and positive things for you, and really appreciate all that you do for all of us up here in the high country.
Well, I just am so appreciative of the opportunity to help where I can.
Well, thanks, Charlie. Thanks so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching the Outstanding Businesses of the High Country, and we'll see you here next time.